next to the Barclays Center is one of Brooklyn's most talked about residential buildings. 461 Dean Street will have breathtaking views of the city with more than 300 sleek and modern rental units, and half of them will be affordable. This building is fully loaded with amenities like a doorman, roof deck, children's playroom, and yoga studio. The developer, Forest City Ratner Properties, says 100 units will be for those making less than the area median income, which is roughly $20,000 a year. The other 70 will be available for middle-income residents earning up to $144,000 a year. Studios start at $500. 2 bedrooms can cost as much as $3,000, depending on the renter's income.
Those apartments aren't meeting the most serious needs in the city at all.
Tom Waters is a housing policy analyst at the Community Service Society. He says with more than 1 million low-income households in the city, this project isn't helping those who need it most. But Dean Street is part of a bigger project that's rebuilding the old Atlantic Yards into Pacific Park, Brooklyn. The developer, Greenland Forest City Partners, promises retail space, a public school, and a total of 1,800 housing units. 2 other buildings, 535 Carlton Avenue and 38 6th Avenue, will be affordable rentals. But it could be tough to get your hands on them, says Eric Enquist, assistant managing editor at Crain's New York Business.
In New York City, when you apply for an affordable apartment through a housing lottery, your odds of winning one are less than 1 in 1,000. And if you do not live near that building, it's even worse because local preference is usually given.
You can sign up for the 461 Dean Street lottery on the city's Housing Development Corporation website. It closes at the end of June, and residents are expected to move in this fall. The other 2 affordable buildings will be complete sometime next year. From downtown Brooklyn, Liz Dahlem, Fox 5 News.
All right, Liz, thank you very much for that report. Joining me right now is New York Assemblyman Walter Mosley from Brooklyn. Thank you so much for being here, Walter.
Thank you.
It's a good subject. We've talked about it before. Your district, you represent that area where this development is taking place. What's your take on what's going on there?
Well, obviously, one of the biggest issues for us is trying to create and preserve affordable housing for the city of New York. Just not in my district. But I think that this project is just a part of a much larger issue. It's going to solve some of the problems, a very minute portion of the problems, but at the same time, we understand that we still have to create more affordable housing for working class New Yorkers, more affordable housing for those who need it, but far below market rate, while also making sure that the industry is making their fair share in terms of profit margin.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of the developers go into this thing and they say we're going to have a combination here because we have to show a profit. We understand that. There is this lottery system too, Walter, that we talked about. And this one, there's a deadline on this particular project, like the end of June, right?
Correct. June 27th is the deadline.
Right. What do you think about this? Because it's a little, a lot of the residents have a preference who are in that area for the lottery.
Right. There is a preference for those individuals who reside in community boards 2, 3, 6, and 8, which is pretty much downtown in central Brooklyn.
Right.
But at the same time, it's quite disturbing that when we're talking about an issue that's so important, like how do we create more affordable housing, that we rely upon a lottery system, a situation by chance, by which you're trying to plan for yourself, your family, in an effort to plan for the future.
And you need a lot more of that.
Right.
You were telling me about this AMI issue, which I think is very important for people to hear. Spell that out for us.
Well, the area median income is determined by an old federal act, the Federal Housing Act of 1937, which is part of the New Deal. And what it does, it pretty much determines the area median income for that particular region. So for New York City, it includes not only the 5 boroughs, but it also includes Suffolk and Nassau County, as well as Westchester, Putnam, and Rockland.
And this is very important now. But we said 1937. I mean, what's being done? It's a federal issue, but what's being done about it?
Well, one thing is we have to make our federal legislators and our federal officers understand that, this is clearly an outdated policy. It's something that was done back in the 1930s. We're into the year 2016. And to us, we believe that we want to fairly and accurately determine the area median income for New York City.
Right.
That we need to only include the 5 boroughs. If you take into account just the 5 boroughs, excluding the other counties, that 90,000, a little over 90,000 for a family of 4 would roughly be half of that for a family of 4 in New York City.
So we got to get the city, the state, the federal government all lined up here to get something done, because that is part of the process.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. And I hope you're working on it. I know you are.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah, well, keep up the good work. Okay, Walter, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Talking about affordable housing. We'll have you back on the program with, I hope, some positive news, too, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks again. All right, other news to tell you about tonight.